The story begins in Taiwan, where we meet Lucy, an American girl who has come to Taiwan for her studies. During her time there, she gets into a relationship with a new boyfriend, a man often involved in shady dealings. One day, he takes Lucy to a hotel and hands her a briefcase. He asks her to deliver it to a man inside the hotel, promising her $1,000 in return. Lucy immediately refuses, sensing something suspicious. There's no way such a small task pays this much, she argues. But her boyfriend, unbothered by her resistance, cuffs her wrist to the briefcase, leaving her no choice. Reluctantly, Lucy enters the hotel, heads to the reception, and gives the name of the man she's supposed to meet. Moments later, a group of intimidating individuals descends from the upper floors to meet her. Lucy's boyfriend watches nervously from outside as Lucy is escorted into the hotel. The men she's supposed to deliver the briefcase to quickly identify her boyfriend outside and kill him without hesitation. Witnessing this through the hotel window, Lucy is gripped with fear, realizing she's in the middle of something far more dangerous than she had imagined. The men take Lucy upstairs to a hotel room where she meets a gangster sitting at the center of the operation. He orders Lucy to open the briefcase. Confused and terrified, she notices that everyone else in the room takes cover behind walls and furniture. "What's inside this briefcase?" Lucy nervously asks. The gangster responds dismissively, "Nothing dangerous." Suspicious, she retorts, "Then why are all of you hiding?" One of the men finally explains, "Because we don't trust the person who handed you the case." They then provide Lucy with the password to unlock the briefcase. Lucy cautiously opens the briefcase, trembling as she carefully follows the instructions. Inside, she finds 4 packets filled with a strange blue powder. Everyone comes out of hiding, visibly relieved. The gangster, intrigued, turns to Lucy and asks, "Will you work for us?" Lucy immediately refuses, shaking her head. Suddenly, one of the gangster's men attacks her, knocking her unconscious. When Lucy regains consciousness, she's disoriented and in pain. She notices a bandage wrapped around her abdomen, indicating some kind of surgery. Horrified, she panics, thinking they might have removed one of her organs. Just then, a man approaches her and coldly explains, "One of the packets from that briefcase has been surgically placed inside your stomach. You're now part of our operation. Wherever we send you, you'll go. Once there, the packet will be removed." Lucy, terrified and helpless, knows she has no choice but to comply. These men are far too dangerous to defy. Next, 3 more individuals are brought into the room. Just like Lucy, packets are surgically placed inside their stomachs. One of the men coldly addresses them, saying, "You will each travel to different countries to deliver these packets. Our operatives will remove them once you arrive. If any of you try to betray us, we have your addresses. We won't hesitate to kill your families." With this threat hanging over their heads, the 4 individuals are blindfolded and taken to separate locations. When Lucy's blindfold is removed, she finds herself in a room with 2 men. One of them begins to act aggressively toward her, attempting to harass her. Lucy firmly resists, which enrages him. In his fury, he brutally beats her and she collapses to the ground. The man delivers a violent kick to her stomach where the packet is hidden. This causes the packet, filled with an extremely dangerous drug, to rupture and begin leaking into her system. Up until now, this drug had never been tested on humans, and no one knows the kind of effects it might have. Meanwhile, we are introduced to a scientist who has dedicated his life to studying the human brain. During a lecture, he explains, "To this day, humans only use 10% of their brain's capacity, and even with this limited use, we've transformed the world. In the animal kingdom, dolphins are unique creatures that utilize up to 20% of their brain. This enables them to communicate with others even across hundreds of kilometers. Imagine if humans could use 100% of their brain's capacity. We would gain full control over our bodies, unlocking abilities beyond imagination." On the other hand, we see Lucy, who is experiencing an overwhelming change in her body as the drug packet inside her stomach continues to leak. The effects of the drug activate parts of her brain previously untouched, increasing her brain usage to 20%. Suddenly, she feels a rush of awareness and control over her body. The man who previously assaulted Lucy enters the room again, and Lucy sits quietly, seemingly unfazed. She realizes that resistance could provoke further harm, so she remains calm and gestures to him, signaling that she's compliant. The man, misunderstanding her intentions, approaches her confidently. Lucy, in a sudden burst of strength, punches the man and grabs his belt, using it to pull him down. She swiftly takes the belt to pull a table closer, where the man had left his gun. Grabbing the weapon, she shoots him without hesitation, ending the threat. Determined to deal with the drug packet inside her stomach, she heads straight to the hospital in a cab. At the hospital, Lucy enters the operating room where surgeons are already performing a procedure on another patient. She approaches the monitoring screen and, with with her heightened awareness, studies the patient's condition. Without warning, she draws her gun and shoots the patient. The surgeons are horrified and demand, "What have you done?" Lucy calmly explains, "He was beyond saving. His tumor had already spread to his spine, and he was moments away from death." The shocked doctors stand frozen as Lucy lies down on the operating table, instructing them, "There's a drug packet inside me that's leaking. You need to remove it immediately." The lead surgeon hesitates, suggesting, "We need to give you anesthesia first to avoid any pain." Lucy dismisses the idea, saying, "That won't be necessary, just proceed with the operation." She raises her gun to ensure compliance, leaving the doctors with no choice but to follow her instructions. While the operation begins, Lucy calls her mother. In an emotional moment, she recounts vivid memories from her childhood, including details her mother had long forgotten. Her mother, listening in disbelief, is stunned by Lucy's clarity and emotion. As Lucy continues speaking to her mother during the operation, she recounts memories from when she was only 5 or 6 months old. Her mother, astounded, asks, "How do you remember such things? You were just a baby." Lucy calmly replies, "I even remember the taste of your milk." Lucy's enhanced mental capacity now allows her to access and recall every detail of her past, as her brain operates beyond 20% capacity. Meanwhile, the doctor successfully removes the drug packet from her stomach. After the procedure, Lucy inquires, "How much of the drug is left?" The doctor examines the packet and responds, "About half." Curious about the lingering effects, Lucy asks, "How long until the drug's effects wear off?" The doctor hesitates, then says, "I'd need to know exactly what this substance is to determine that." Lucy reveals, "It's called CPH4. The name leaves the doctor stunned. "CPH4? He repeats in disbelief. "Do you know what this is?" During the 6th week of pregnancy, a woman's body produces a minuscule amount of CPH4. It acts like a powerful atomic bomb for the developing fetus, providing the necessary energy to create life. I've heard rumors about a synthetic version being developed, but I never imagined it could exist. And you consumed such a large quantity and are still alive?" Lucy, fully aware of her condition, replies matter-of-factly, "Not for much longer." With that, Lucy leaves the hospital, her mind now racing with the possibilities of what she can achieve with the time she has left. As Lucy steps outside, she experiences the world in a completely transformed way. She can see and understand everything in nature, the intricate processes happening inside trees, and the very essence of life around her. Her heightened senses and awareness make her perceive the world like never before. Determined to recover the remaining packets, Lucy goes directly to the gangster responsible for implanting the drug in her body. She confronts him, saying, "Tell me where the other 3 people with the packets are. I need all of them." When the gangster refuses to cooperate, Lucy calmly places her hand on his head. Using her mental abilities, she connects to his brain and extracts the information herself. She discovers that the 3 individuals with the packets are heading to Rome, Berlin, and Paris. Armed with this knowledge, Lucy returns to her apartment, where her flatmate greets her. Lucy asks, "Can I borrow your laptop?" She quickly searches for the scientist who has dedicated his entire career to researching the brain. Finding his contact, she calls him directly. "I want to meet you," Lucy says confidently. "I've read all your research." The scientist chuckles skeptically. "Do you have any idea how much I've written? It's not something you can just skim through." Lucy responds without hesitation, 6,734 pages. "I've read every single one." Stunned, the scientist pauses, realizing she's serious. "How is that even possible? I read them all in 2 minutes," Lucy replies matter-of-factly. The scientist, now intrigued, listens as Lucy explains, "I'm currently using 28% of my brain's capacity. I can control my body, other people's bodies, telecommunication systems, and electronic devices. I no longer feel pain, fear, or desire." Her calm yet extraordinary claims leave the scientist in awe, setting the stage for their eventual meeting. "My mind is now filled with advanced knowledge of mathematics, quantum physics, and the sciences, but I don't know what to do with it all." The scientist advises her, "Pass it on. Use your knowledge for the next generation, just like each cell in the body passes its information to the next." Lucy solemnly replies, "I have only 24 hours left. Within that time, I will die. Before that happens, I will come to you." Before leaving her apartment, Lucy embraces her flatmate. She gently warns her, "You have several health issues. You need to change your lifestyle." Without waiting for a response, Lucy departs. She then contacts a police officer and informs him about the 3 individuals traveling internationally with drugs inside their bodies. The officer is initially skeptical, but Lucy provides him with precise and undeniable information that convinces him to act. The officer intercepts and arrests the 3 individuals before they can leave the country. Lucy arrives at the location where the 3 are held, but the gangsters responsible for the operation also show up, attempting to retrieve the drugs. Before the gangsters can harm anyone or remove the drugs, Lucy uses her extraordinary abilities to overpower them effortlessly. With the 3 packets in her possession, Lucy teams up with the police officer and heads directly to meet the scientist, determined to share her knowledge before time runs out. The scientist, along with his team, eagerly awaits Lucy's arrival. When she enters, everyone listens in awe as Lucy shares groundbreaking mathematical and scientific concepts. She explains calculations and theories so advanced that the team is left stunned. They had never considered such possibilities before. Lucy demonstrates her complete control over her body by transforming one of her hands into two, shocking everyone. She says, "We've always been told that 1 + 1 = 2, but in reality, numbers and words don't actually exist. Humans created them for convenience." The scientist, intrigued, asks, "If this world isn't governed by mathematics, then what drives it?" To illustrate her point, Lucy projects a car on the screen. She gradually increases the car's speed until it moves so fast that it disappears from the screen. Lucy explains, "Time is the ultimate force that governs everything. Beyond that, everything else is an illusion." She then declares, "I must consume the remaining packets of drugs to unlock 100% of my brain's potential." Just then, the police officer enters and warns, "The gangsters have arrived with reinforcements. We can't hold them off for long. You need to hurry." Acknowledging the urgency, Lucy calmly says, "It's time." She prepares herself and consumes all the remaining packets of the drug, ready for the next phase of her transformation. After consuming the remaining packets, Lucy's brain activity rapidly exceeds its limits. Her body begins exuding a black liquid that starts consuming all the electronic devices around her. With her brain now operating at over 90% capacity, Lucy gains the ability to traverse time itself. She travels thousands of years into the past, witnessing primitive humans, the age of dinosaurs, and eventually reaching the point where the first human began to evolve, our earliest ancestor. Lucy shares a few moments with this primordial human before transcending even further. Lucy's journey takes her beyond the boundaries of our world, where she observes the universe, witnessing the Big Bang, the moment that created everything. Meanwhile, back in the room, the gangster bursts in and points a gun at her. As he fires, Lucy's brain reaches 100% activation and she vanishes, leaving only her clothes behind. The gangster, confused, turns his attention to the scientist and his team, demanding to know where Lucy is gone. Before he can harm anyone, the police officer arrives and shoots the gangster, ending the threat. In Lucy's absence, the black liquid she had exuded forms into a supercomputer. This device contains all the knowledge and information from Lucy's mind. Before it self-destructs, the supercomputer hands a pen drive to the scientist, transferring all of Lucy's amassed knowledge to humanity. The police officer, still puzzled, asks, "Where is she?" At that moment, a message appears on his phone. "I am everywhere." Lucy has transcended physical form, her consciousness now spread across the universe. She can see, feel, and exist everywhere. The story concludes with a powerful reflection. Life was gifted to us thousands of years ago, but how have we used it? How should we lead our lives moving forward? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. We hope you enjoyed this thrilling journey.